You know, when I look back and I think about all of the wonderful things that I've been involved in through my life, you know, as a poor, neglected little kid growing up, terrified about what life held for me, what the future was going to be for me. Even to this day, I can't pass homeless people without giving them money. But for the grace of God, there go I, you know. I am so blessed. I know people, when they look at, like I said, I've worked on a book, and in my book, it's in the Library of Congress. It's in the Smithsonian Institute of North American History, Vietnam Veterans Collection. I've been with, I've met Bill Clinton. I've shaken his hand. I've been right there with George Bush. Little George was there. I've seen Barack Obama. I've been in protest from coast to coast, San Francisco. I was at Occupy Wall Street. I was at Standing Rock, North Dakota. I mean, I'm amazed by all the things. But you know what? I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. And all of a sudden, an opportunity opened up. And it said, "You want to go?" Sure. I guess the Lord wants me to do this one. When we did that Outward Bound with those veterans and took them all the way to Washington, D.C., heroin addicts, crackheads. I mean, you can't even imagine what went on in that journey. But before I left, I mean, I was ready to give it up. I was ready to say, you know what? This is way over my head. I can, you know, let it go. This calm came over me. It was like, hey, you bought the ticket, Larry. You gotta ride the ride. Wherever it takes you, whatever you do, you gotta ride the ride, brother. And that, from that moment on, this calm came over me. And it said, okay, let's do what we gotta do. And that has been every situation in my life. I'm not a rich man. I don't have the resources to do a lot of things. When I first started going to Washington, D.C., I took my sleeping bag with me in case I had to sleep under the bushes somewhere in D.C., because I'd seen the homeless sleeping all over, sleeping on the grates and stuff, and I said, shoot, I can do that. If I have to do that, I will do that. But oftentimes I found myself, brother Vietnam veterans would give me a corner in their hotel room. Hey, brother, you can sleep here. You know, I'd go to some of the reunions where they had free food. Here, man, I'd go in the morning and feed you breakfast. I grab a couple of apples and oranges in my pocket, and then I go about my business. Come back. Hey, man, come back this evening. You know, we're going to have dinner. You know, I come back and I'd eat with them. I mean, I did it with no money in my pockets a lot of times, you know. So now it's about, do I want to take the time away from my wife and stuff? Because my wife has put up with so much with me, and now that she's getting older and I'm older, I'm trying to give her quality time, spend time with her, do things that she has fun with and that she enjoys. And so, you know, my life has been one great big blessing after another. And I say this, all glory be to God. You know, people will laugh at you, oh, you're one of those. Yes, I am. I believe in the power of God. I believe in the power of prayer. And, you know, and so for me, that's where all of this comes from. I'm just a servant along the way. You know, if you put it in front of me, Lord, then I guess when I went to Outward Bound, the first Outward Bound I didn't have the money to go. I got a scholarship for the cost of the school, but I didn't have the money to go. I caught a freight train from Klamath Falls, Oregon to Portland, Oregon. And then from Portland, Oregon, I got enough money to get me to Pendleton, Oregon. And when I got to Pendleton, Oregon, I didn't have no money. And I met a partner there, Terry Wallace, who had enough money to get us a room for the night before we started the Outward Bound school. So I went on faith alone. You know, sometimes you don't have to be a rich man to do it. You just got to do it. Yeah. My name is Larry Lopez. At this time, I'm 68 years old. In my life, I've done so many things. You know, I worked in the fields as a kid, farm labor. I was a Marine, served in Vietnam as a combat Marine. Not all Marines see combat, but I am a combat Marine, recipient of a Purple Heart. You know, when I came back from Vietnam, it changed me, made me want to do more to make the world a better place. So I worked at Stockton Children's Home, I worked at Bobby Smith Boys Home, Mary Graham Children's Shelter, Peterson Hall. We set up our own program, taking kids into the mountains. It was called Outdoor Youth Development Program. It was called Hoods in the Woods Program. You know, I fought fire for years for the National Park Service and fought fire all over the country doing some incredible things, seeing some incredible places. I worked in Yosemite for most of my career, which was just, I mean, being paid to work in Yosemite National Park. My passion, I found, was working with people. You know, Vietnam was an ugly, ugly part of my life. And when I came back, I said, I want to do everything I can to make the world a better place. And so my passion was working with children and working with veterans, other veterans.
And that's my Me Minute.
And that's my Me Minute.